Hello! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Charlie and today I'm going to show you how I made my AKUMA LINOCUT block print. Alright, so first what I do is I do my fast and loose sort of sketch using reference that you can't see here, but he's up on my computer screen. And then after I have kind of a general sketch, I take my linoleum block and I just kind of trace the outside so I can frame what I want to have on the block later. Alright, so at this point I'm still kind of sketching loosely. I'll do a little bit of cleaning. What you'll see me do is really clean up that other side of the paper, and that will enable me so I can fold it over and trace my sketch on the other side, and this will allow me to have a cleaner graphite sketch with the pencil. This is important because I'll be burnishing the pencil onto the linoleum block so I can make my outlines and then eventually carve out my form. So at this point what I'm doing is I'm taking a Sharpie and I'm kind of outlining the pencil that I burnished onto the linoleum block. By doing this I get like these really nice thick lines and I can figure out where I'm going to be carving momentarily. Then after I'm done with my Sharpie, I'm ready to carve. So the carving process takes literally forever. I did mine over the course of a couple of days. You'll see that I change locations a couple times. The lighting is different over the course of this whole session, so I went ahead and sped up this part about 300%. So I have this little leather book cover that I put down on my surface, which prevents the linoleum block from sliding around, so it's kind of like a safety thing. I do a lot of carving like towards my wrist, which is not the most safe thing to do. So if you try this yourself, maybe don't do that. I'm pretty controlled and I trust myself, but you know, if you're just starting out, be a little careful. Something else that you'll see me do a lot is I'll take the Sharpie and I'll kind of color over where I've already carved, and this will kind of let me see where the ink is going to hit on my linoleum so far. So you'll see like the night sky in this illustration or on this carving gets progressively darker because I keep going in with a Sharpie and I carve out the stars so I can see what that's gonna look like. Another thing that you'll see me do here in a second is I have this like very rigid natural fiber paintbrush, and I'll use that to kind of clean out the little carved crevices. You can see my workspace gets quite messy after a while, so I'll clean that up on occasion. Here we are, another day of carving, doing a lot of the details this time. So this is a pretty small linoleum block. I think I only really used maybe one or two of the different like tooltips you can put into the carving tool. You don't really need a lot of different tooltips at this level. It's really basic. Just a standard kit will get you pretty far. Pretty soon here you're gonna see I'm gonna clean up again and really go in there with the Sharpie and really just kind of iron out those details and present it to myself using that Sharpie again. So when you're looking at the linoleum block at this point, it's a much closer representation of what your print is probably going to look like. there's not a lot of different techniques I used doing this. Kind of like short little thin cuts for his like the fur that he wears around his waist, and his hair more longer, shallow cuts for the ropes around his wrists, and then just like big chunks taken out for where his body is, where it would be like his skin showing through. Okay, so the next part is my favorite part, which is the actual print. So we're fully carved, fully cleaned up, and what I'm doing is putting some of the printing ink on this little metal panel I have, using the rolling tool to kind of thin it out, spread it out, get it all over that, and then going over the print with the ink, trying to get like the right amount, not too much, not too little, cleaning it up in between if there's too much. So the first few prints are absolutely nice little test, and then I just burnish it again with that wooden spatula, and you can see this little cutoff, but the prints are turning out really nice. I used a like calligraphy parchment paper for these, and they turned out really well. I have some of the original run for sale on my Etsy shop if you're interested in purchasing one. And yeah, this was really cool, a really fun way to celebrate AKUMA coming to Street Fighter 6. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd love to make more art videos like this for y'all. Bye!